So here we are at day one of clone shoot, right at the entrance. What I'm planning on doing is going around and talking to some of the cool people that's been cloning for a while and some of the cool companies that are building new stuff. So I'm here with Chris with Int Mil Co, our first stop on the clone shoot tour. You recently sent some lowers to us that we've been using on our 416 clones, our Recce clones, and Mark 12 clones.
Sure did.
How did you get started with making lowers?
So, you know, I used to work with AKs. That was pretty much all I built for years. And when I finally decided to get my firearms license and start building guns, that was based on the fact that everybody wanted me to paint their AK, and you can't paint AKs if you don't have a license. The next thing I wanted to do was build an M16, and nobody actually made a correct looking lower receiver.
Yeah.
And so I went about looking into trying to find out how to do that. What's the right way of doing it? A lot of people told me it couldn't be done, but we ended up, well, because roll stamping was dead. I mean, most people use lasers nowadays.
Yeah.
They just didn't think it would work. You know, I mean, it's expensive because, you know, you make a die for a lower receiver, and if you need to change the art, you have to make another die.
Yeah, we recently were looking into getting roller stamps, and they're expensive.
Yeah, they're absolutely. Yeah, they're absolutely. Yeah. I mean, some dies, you know, I've remade 5 times.
Yeah.
You know, so I figured, hey, let me try it. So I jumped feet first, and we're doing pretty good now. I mean, you can always improve, but
well, what I like is like what you do, what we do is pretty similar.
Yeah.
You know, we're bringing something that's old back to the market, because what we were talking about a little bit before the interview was it's just got a certain soul to it.
Right.
Like it's not perfect. You know?
Right.
If you want a perfect lower, you know, Zev makes these really nice lowers, but it lacks the charm, it lacks the history.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And like roller marks, I love roller marks just because of the imperfections.
Yeah,
of
yeah. I mean, like the corners are tilted up a little bit, and they're not always even.
Yeah.
You know,
I think they're like perfectly imperfect.
Imperfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like a piece of art or something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, and it just harkens back to a different time.
Right.
When these were made differently, and you're making them.
I'm making them by hand. Like every one of them, like by hand, is roll stamped by me. You know? And yeah, I mean, it's an art form. You could spool up a million different things on a laser. You know, you could make whatever you want in minutes. You know, but there's just something to be said about doing things the old way, you know, how they were.
It's a craft.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, how they were originally done. You know.
And you don't just do lowers. You also do the lower parts kits.
I do. Yes.
And a new suppressor.
Yeah. So absolutely. Yeah.
Not new.
Well, it's a new old suppressor, right? Yeah. And it's really similar to what you guys make. I mean, I guess it would be kind of one of the first reflex cans. I was able to get my hands on an original Hell E4A.
Oh, sick.
And so we blueprinted it, fixed a couple issues that would have proved to be troublesome for people mounting them on guns nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, if you guys were going to make, I'm sure y'all can make a killer Hell E4A if y'all wanted to. But the thing is, you know, mine come with all the imperfections, just like we were talking about. You know, it's not sealed, it's not completely sealed in the back. I mean,
yeah, I mean, like you could slap one of our M4 Deltas on a 20-inch M16.
Absolutely, yes.
But like yours is what was actually used in Vietnam.
Right.
You're kind of retrofitting ours to make it work.
Right.
I mean, whatever floats your boat, right? I don't even know how it mounts up.
You may show you?
Yeah.
So the originals, what you would do is you would take this back cap, and it would have 6 holes in it. So there's 3 Allen head screws. I don't know if you can see. There's 3 Allen head screws in this that hold this back cap on. The originals had 6 holes in the cap itself, and you would have to index it off the bayo lug.
Yeah.
And then just hope that it timed, because they didn't have shims or anything, and it was a consumable back then. It wasn't something that was serialized.
Yeah.
So that, you know, if one got loose, they just, you know, and they damaged it, they just throw it away.
Yeah. That's sick. Well, I really appreciate your time. We use your lowers on our Mark 12s, our Recce's, 416s. And if you're looking to pick one up, I mean, you're always pumping them out as fast as you can.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
It takes time to make them.
Cool.
Well, I appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, man.
I'm the sun and the air. All the shyness that is criminally vulgar. I'm the sun and air of nothing in particular. You should chill out. How can you say I go about?
So we're here with Pete from Space Magic Industries.
Yep.
And you guys have been relatively new, right?
Yeah, pretty new. We did this in a collaboration with Shadow Strategic, and he's been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
Some different business ventures in the gun world, but he knows what he's doing for sure. So
Yeah, so it's like a collaboration.
yeah, we kind of landed there because we both were on the same path, and we met. It was a weird way we met. We knew a lot of the same people, and we kind of both found out that we were going to make these rails or wanted to make these rails. So we met up in person, and it's funny, we actually met up at a Brighton hot dog shop, got some chili cheese fries, and talked gun parts.
Yeah. Yeah, and these rails are the Delta or CAG LVAW rails, right?
Yep, correct. You know, there was a lot of options over the years to get like a super inferior rail, and like Altered made one and burned a bunch of people. That also played a part in how we ended up getting together to make these.
Well, I actually had an Altered rail for a while, and I know it's like aesthetically it looks the same, but functionally it's different.
If you hold one next to a real one or one of ours, like you could see how majorly different they actually are.
Yeah.
But it's an optical illusion because not too many people had a real one to compare them. So like a lot of the holes were metric when he did them because it's not from America. Like,
Yeah.
It should be 1032 and they weren't, you know? So there was a lot of other subtle differences that he did. Like these holes on the top were like an M-Lock sized hole. They weren't M-Lock holes per se, but they were M-Lock sized.
Yeah.
So they were off dimensionally a few places, especially like back here, but and then everybody knows like he kind of ran off with everybody's money, including mine, yours.
I actually got mine.
Oh, did you get yours? Yeah, I never.
I was one of those first batches
Yeah,
that he
yeah.
actually fulfilled.
Yeah, I was on pre-order number 2 and 3. They got me twice, but I got one second hand. That's why I pre-ordered another one.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I could just like sell the one when it comes in, but he ran away with everybody's money.
But yeah, his was like, again, aesthetically similar.
close, yeah.
But like
Yeah, for
yours
sure.
is, you have actual samples that you were
Yes.
building off.
We made this as 1-to-1 as humanly possible, but able to work on a commercial MCX.
Yeah, because I mean, the old ones were the legacy MCXs, but you're making them for Vertices and
So you can run it on LT. We got a version to work on a Rattler, an LT, Legacy, Vertus. The Vertus and the LTs will take the same rail, but you won't be able to utilize the LTs like bolt clamps on the side. But like these rails are like insanely hard lockup, like insanely hard lockup, as opposed to all the options before. Like they rattle, even the real ones rattle. So we did take some design liberties to make it better as far as that goes. Like so you actually can have some zero retention on a laser.
Yeah.
Better chances at it. There's a lot of subtle downfalls of this rail, but we try to capitalize on us remaking it to make it better. You know, so
Allen Engineering, we know. Like,
you get it.
It's like we're bringing
get it for
something
sure.
old back to
Fruition.
but we have the ability to make some improvements.
You don't want to make an inferior product
Yeah.
just to make it clone correct. So like it's like a duality of the cloner man. You know.
We've learned so much in the past 20 years. Also, you're getting into cloning because of a different reason besides complete functionality.
For
So
sure.
it's that balance.
For sure. We're stoked about it.
Yeah, I'm stoked about it too. The LVAW clone was one of my earlier ones of like, this thing's awesome. I
Yeah.
want to build it. I think that's a cool thing that's going on in the clone community is people are actually starting to take it a little bit more seriously.
Yeah.
And what was old is now coming back. And like people like you and or Space Magic and Shadow Strategic are actually putting in the work.
Yeah, the same with some of you guys. You know, we're all thankful to be able to build these guns that we want to build. Like this is our passion. You know, like it got us to where we are. You know, and this isn't my everyday job. Like, I didn't just wake up and go, I'm gonna start making guns, or getting parts or whatever. So, it comes from passion for us,
Work on anything new?
Yeah, there's quite a bit.
I'm hoping for Remington defense stuff.
It's been talked about.
Okay.
I'll say that.
I won't push it more.
Yeah, there's no promises. I'll tell you this: there's no promises on anything. But we don't do pre-orders. We try not to tell people we're going to make something and then end up not making it too. That's another thing. Like, we get a lot of in this community. You get a lot of false promises.
That's why. We don't do pre-orders. I will sell it to you when it's available.
Yeah. That's the way it should be.
Because the community's been done dirty so much by some of these guys.
If you pre-ordered an Ultra Rail and you didn't get it, we have a group put together and an email list and everything, and we're hooking those guys up.
Oh, sick.
I mean, we have zero obligation to do so, other than the fact that we want to give back to the guys that got burned over these rails. Because I would say this is one of the first clones I was ever like obsessive level with. And I just chased it down, learned everything I could about the procurement program for it, everything. I wanted to know what stipulations they had to hit, and I got a lot of that information, and I found so much of it super cool. And this is what they finally landed on at the time. This is early 2010s. So, and previous to that was the MPWs and stuff, and that was never like an actual program. So so this made it. And now we're able to do it for everybody, which is what I want. I didn't do this for money. I can tell you it wasn't super financially beneficial to do this, but
well, that's what I think that's the difference with some of those companies that run with the money is they're doing it for the money. And that's why I love Clone Shoot is people are here because of the community and because it's a passion project.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we were doing it for the money, I got other things I could do.
Oh yeah, I'd make way more money doing my day job than this. I can tell you that. But
I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
I'm excited about these rails.
Yeah, me too. We're excited about the things you're doing as well. We appreciate you guys being here.
Trying to do cool stuff.
Yeah. Hopefully together we can make some real cool stuff happen.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Appreciate your time.
I'm with Ryan, Thoroughbred Armament.
Yep.
As we've been growing AE, you've been a big help with making sure that parts are available for everyone, especially with some companies not being able to fully fulfill those old surplus orders.
Right.
So how did you get started with Thoroughbred?
Started probably in 2009. That was actually probably when I bought my first AR. And a lot of people are probably going to laugh. It was a Ruger AR-15, piston driven. But that was kind of my first introduction to the AR world. Eventually bought a couple more like double star, started changing parts around. That kind of gave me the bug, you know, of building, and then that spiraled into the clone world of, you know, some of the military stuff. My dad was in the military, had a lot of friends in the military. Became interested in the cloning world. That kind of slowly rolled everything. Then in 2017 is when I actually started Thoroughbred Armament. And lot of that was the clone focus, and again, it just kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a blur since then, honestly. So
starting from 2017, have you noticed like the cloning sphere grow?
oh yeah, for sure. I've seen some people recently say, like, oh, cloning's dead. It's not going anywhere anymore, and I don't believe that at all. I mean, you look around here, everyone that's here, and the builds. Yeah, I think it's only going to continue to get bigger.
Yeah.
I don't see it slowing down anytime soon.
The way I see it, it was like a while ago, it was a little bit more gatekeeping.
Yes.
And then I think those gates are gone now.
Right.
And then just everyday people are getting into it.
Yeah.
I mean, because the information's out there. You have companies like you and, all these guys actually supporting it,
Right.
making things available.
Yes. Yeah, and like the Clone Rifles website, like you were saying, information out there being available to people. They can go on there and see like what parts they need to try to source. And, not everyone's going to, pay big money to have some of the exact clone correct items. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it. Like, yeah, it's a cloning community and people want things to be as correct as possible sometimes. But, not everyone may always have the funds to do that. So, there are reproductions of certain things, and I think that's a great, opportunity for everyone and to get more people into it,
Yeah.
At the end of the day, go out, shoot, have fun, enjoy it. Not everything's got to be perfect. And, if you do want it to be perfect, that's cool too.
Yeah.
But, it's for everyone, I think.
Well, I think that's like with the growth of it. That's why I think you are such a great part of this community, is because people are sometimes, I think, a little put off by how hard certain things are to find.
Yeah.
And you've made so much stuff available
Right.
that you can just get online and buy a Colt barrel with a collar already
Right.
installed on it.
Yeah, and that's the goal. Trying to make it easier for people. They might have that upper already. A lot of people don't want to mess with sizing collars, measuring their barrels. So if we can make it easier, having some assemblies already to go, and that still allows people to do a little bit of their own build.
Yeah.
Or they can buy it complete. But yeah, it's trying to help everybody make it a little easier. That's our goal.
Yeah. And what's funny is people always go on our site and they're like, Allen Engineer never has any of their suppressors in stock. I'm like, type it in Google. Thoroughbred Armament always has M4 like Delta cannons, AEM5s, everything in stock.
We try, and we're trying to keep the levels up there high so we don't run out.
Yeah.
So yeah, always try to keep your guys' cans in stock. They definitely move fast. The M4 Gordon cans, the AEM5s move really quick, and like we were talking about yesterday, I'm probably going to try to start doing some more uppers and other builds for like the AEM2s, the 4, and all that. So there can be some more options for people out there.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it easy for people. I think, our system's relatively, it's complicated to someone who doesn't fully understand it. So it's like, oh, this is a lot of information to learn how to put a suppressor on a rifle.
Right.
But you just make it ready to go out of the gate. Just all you need is a can, throw it on.
Plug and play.
Yeah.
Go enjoy it.
Sweet.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that a lot.
Hey, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Green Sally up, Green Sally down, last unstart, gotta tell the ground. Sally up,
I am here with Neil with 2AF. You're probably one of the oldest school cloners I know. You've been doing it for a while, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's guys who have been doing it as long or certainly longer, but I can say that when I started making the clones, like no one that I saw was really using the word clone rifle or clones.
Yeah.
You know, this is the first clone I built. I saw a picture of this on AR15.com and I'm like, that's the coolest AR-15 I've ever seen. I want to make one.
Yeah.
Now it was 2002.
It's all the way back in 2002?
Yeah, it was.
Because that's when these started. Well, I know they were rolling out a little bit before, but
yeah,
got its stride in 2002.
Yep. So on AR15.com, I have no idea what thread it was, but there was a guy who went by the handle, the number 3, RDTK. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. People said that it was Dick Swan. People said if it wasn't Dick Swan, it was certainly probably at least somebody that worked at Arms. And I don't know what the title of the thread was. I don't know what it was about. But whoever that was put up a picture, was like, hey, here's something new we're working on or something like that. And I was like, that looks awesome. The first guy who kind of fed my addiction into this was a guy named Wes at MSTN. So back in the late 90s and early 2000s, he was like one of the only guys you could go to regularly and get arms and Knight's Armament, and you know, before LaRue was even around, and he was like one of the first guys to have LaRue, and he's who I found out about Noveski. So Wes at MSTN deserves a lot of credit. He was putting a lot of stuff out there kind of before anybody I knew. So when I saw this picture, I had already worked with Wes, and I was like, I want this. What is it? Mm-hmm. And he helped me get it together. I bought all the parts. This is actually the first gun I put together myself. Wes, he probably put a lot of them together for me, but this was the first one I wanted to do myself. He was friendly, and I said, look, this is the first gun I ever put together. Can I send it to you? Can you just check it? And he did, and he's like, everything looks good.
I'm jealous of your suppressor collection because most of them are OpSync.
Yeah.
And were you interacting with Phil when you got those, or?
Not really. So one year at SHOT Show, I don't remember what year it was, but I was walking around with Wes, and Phil came up to Wes, and I was just like, you know, listen to these two guys talk. I didn't know him. Wes probably introduced me, but that was as far as it went. But yeah, we were the cans came from OpSync at that time, although I was not dealing directly with Phil.
Getting your start doing it in 2002, obviously the cloning community has grown a lot since then.
Yeah.
Have you seen like certain trends, or how have you seen it changed since 2002?
It's always interesting to see, like, this was so Mark 12s were probably the first gun that I really saw people cloning.
Yeah.
You know, people were certainly doing some type of M4 Block 1 type guns as well. I knew a guy named Bernie. He was probably the first guy I knew who owned silencers. You know, he had a really cool Block 1 kit. It was like a Crane SOP mod stock. I guess it was Colt Crane or something like that. It was before the actual SOP mod stock came out, and he had a Trijicon reflex. He had the old Knight's Armament can on there. But again, back then, no one was really saying the word clone, even though I guess that's what we were doing. And it's just interesting to see how, to me, I've noticed some guns become more popular. In some way, it's as parts become available. I have a Gordy clone as well. But nobody was making those collars, and I got that collar for the Gordy clone from D. Wilson, and I didn't even know where he got it from. So at the show today, he was walking by, and I asked him, and he was like, "Oh, Phil made those for us." So not
Ron.
Phil, I'm sorry, Ron made those for us, and he said they didn't work on 12.5-inch barrels. So back then, those were like the only collars that were available. So you kind of got. Dave asked for a non-profiled, like a non-M4 profile, 16-inch barrel. Send it in. He'll fit the collar. He'll cut it to where it's supposed to be. And that's what I have. And so as those parts became more readily available, as people could get those collars, now you saw a bunch more Gordy clones.
Yeah.
I had a very early NSW recce gun that, again, I got it from Wes at MSTN. back at that point, it was probably like 2005 or 6. And he's like, hey, I got this cool Lilja barrel. And you put it with a Knights rail, and you put a Night Force 2.5 to 10 with it. So we did all that. And at that point, on like a lot of the clone conversations that I was a part of was on AR15.com, and people were like, "There's no such thing as that. That's not a clone." There's, you know, so it was a while before people recognized that it was a clone, and now like we've been making them for like 20 years, and then eventually like the 15.1 thing came along, and I was like, I never heard of that, but I guess it makes sense. And now just recently we have all this new information that has just come out, and so. Now it seems like recce guns are becoming even more popular than they were before they recognized them as a clone. Once people started admitting, okay, this is a thing, and like, but now more parts are more information is available. More parts are not really available, but you can because parts are still certainly hard to get. But as more information comes out and as more parts become available or known about, you start see people building those up as well.
Yeah, and I think the information, obviously, like we're putting out information, but I remember when I started getting into cloning, I was watching your videos. You have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And, you know, you just plop in a chair, pull out something, one of the coolest guns you'll ever see, and start talking about the history and how you came across it.
Yeah.
And so, like, people have been, you know, making that path, you know, paving the way for more information to get stacked on. And so, you know, I learned from you, and now, you know, I'm able to put some information I've come across out there. So, like, and I think that's what's cool about this event and the whole community at large is, you know, we're working hard to make things available and make information available. And I think you've been a huge part of that.
Well, thank you. I don't really, people ask me why I started cloning, and I don't really know. You know, I mean, I enjoyed it. It all started because I thought the gun looked cool, you know?
I think that's how most people get into it. They're like, they either see their friend or they watch a movie, play a game, see photos of people using it, and like, that's cool. I want that.
Yeah, the other gun, like the first time I saw an M4A1 Block 2, it was almost the same thing. I was on AR15.com, somebody posted a picture, and I was like, that was the first time I saw a gun that had like a kind of a long rail on a 14.5-inch barrel, and it was a cool brown rail, and I was like, that looked unique to me, so I wanted to make one. The picture that I saw had an ACOG, and I was just like, oh, I got to make another gun with an ACOG, because I had like 3 or 4. And then somebody was like, no, that's not really, you know, one of the more common ones you'd see. And so eventually I put the Elcan on there. I like that much better. And so that's really it. You know, I kind of enjoy looking for parts. As you can see, like a lot of these guns, when we did this one in 2002, none of this was hard to get. You know, you made a call and I said, hey, I want a 12th model, and it showed up. I need a 38 SPR rail, a PEQ rail, and it shows up. I need 22 medium rings, and that's just the way they were. They didn't have the throw levers then. So a lot of the stuff was just, I mean, that was just what was available when I built it. Fortunately, with some exception, I guess I have had a little bit of the foresight not to sell stuff. Because there have been a few times that I've sold things. Not all the time, but most of the time, sometime down the road, I'm like, I shouldn't have sold that, you know? And so I hold on to stuff, and sometimes it just becomes old stuff that nobody cares about, and then sometimes it becomes old stuff that you're like, oh my God, where did you get that? And it's just like, well, I just had it.
Along the same lines as you providing a lot of information, you're a dealer for us. For Allen Engineering. I know you help people, you know, get these suppressors, understand the system, and build out these rifles. And so, you know, just for everyone else, they could buy this Allen Engineering stuff through you, and it's always helpful when there's a person behind it that actually knows what they're talking about, because it's a relatively complicated system to someone who is just getting into it. So having someone kind of hold their hand and teach them is an invaluable, you know, asset.
There's a lot of things. I mean, if you just look at it, you can do it pretty right, but there's a lot of things you can do wrong if you don't know what you're looking at. And then another thing, I'm a huge proponent of, on our X page, every morning I put up a hashtag, shoot your clones post. Because for me, more fun than having them or collecting them or finding the right part is going to shoot them. And man, I have a friend, Jordan, who is local to us and a good customer. He shoots with us very frequently. He put it like, when you build a clone, you have all these years of testing and data and refinement that the military's already done, and you don't have to do it.
Yeah.
Not to say that it's going to be the absolute best thing on the market, but if you do it right, you're going to have a gun that runs really well. And that's the most fun for me, is when we get out and we shoot the guns and, they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're not malfunctioning. They're making these hits. And so I really enjoy shooting them a lot. And man, if you have clones and they're not set up quite right, get out and shoot them. And you'll find out real quick what works and what doesn't work and what might need tweaks.
Yeah, I mean, we just got back from the scoped rifle match.
Yeah.
And you're a freaking champ running up and down all those stairs all day.
It's good I didn't shoot, because I shoot okay, but I'm never up in the top of the pack. Middle is where I go, and mostly it's just because I move slow. But yeah, I love providing stuff like that for people. There was a guy yesterday who we ran him through, and when he was done, I'm like, all right, unload, show clear. He was like, dude, last year at Clone, you did this for me, and I've been shooting matches ever since. And that was really awesome for me to hear, because I know not everybody does it. Some people like to just own them and get enjoyment out of just having them. But man, if you can get out there and shoot them, that's where I have the most fun with them.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate, again, everything you do for Allen Engineering and the cloning community at large with information, helping people build these and getting them out there to actually shoot them. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, no problem. About once a month on our YouTube channel, we'll do a gun, we call it history story video. And they're not always clones, but it's always some kind of gun that has some history and always some story about it as well. So I'll keep doing those, and I'm glad people get stuff out of them.
Awesome. Well, thank you for chatting with me.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I want to thank you guys for all coming out here. Costs money, time, ammo, bourbon budget, whatever it is. You guys come out here and you, like I said, you make it what it is. This community is awesome, and I'm so lucky I get to be a part of it. And if it weren't for you, I'd be some weirdo standing in the field by myself, So thank you all for coming. I hope you all have really safe travels back.